What's up? What's up? What's up, y'all? Welcome to the Two CCs of Blackery podcast. I'm
What's good?
Carrie,
What's good? I'm CJ. How you doing?
and today we're going to talk about a variety of topics, as always.
Yeah. Topic.
Um, I would like to start off with talking about hip hop, since the BET Awards was this past weekend.
By the way, just let you know, Patty LaBelle legitimately did forget those lyrics.
Nah, and that's what we're going to get into. So, Billboard states that no hip hop album has charted number one this year. And from watching the BET Awards, I can kind of understand why. My input is just a lack of talent. The only current artist they really had perform was Uzi, Lotto, Migos, but most of the show was just compacted with older artists from different generations, which is fine. But it really didn't show an accurate picture of hip hop today, or maybe it did. So my question to you, CJ, is what do you think about this?
Because hip hop's not hip hop, it's pop music.
You said what?
Hip hop is no longer hip hop, it's pop music. Rap is just pop music with extra words. That's why there was none, because the real pop music shined this year.
Yeah, I just don't think anybody has really dropped this year that people actually go out and buy music for. Like Kendrick hasn't dropped, Cole ain't dropped.
I
Um,
mean, still, there's like people who don't like Kendrick and Cole and other artists that are rappers that not Kendrick and Cole can appear on the top billboard. But nobody did because in this generation, we got a lot of K-pops, we got a lot of pop artists, we got a lot of
well,
differential like Mexican, well, not Mexican, I'm sorry, differential
yeah, I
Hispanic
mean,
music coming up everywhere. And hip hop is not progressing forward in the more defined hip hop genre like the days of Nas, Two Live Crew, or shit, even Jay-Z fucking. No, now we got everybody trying to copy the whole cutesy pop dance reggaeton shit, which is cool, but you saturate the market. You're making hip hop not hip hop. It's now hip K-pop.
that's true. But I mean, yeah, that is true. But I feel like it's more so I don't think that hip hop is necessarily dead. I just
Dying.
feel like
It's not dead. Dying.
yes, because there's a lack of creativity and like you said, a lack of progression.
Yep.
Like in 2010, you had a bunch of artists come in, J. Cole, Kendrick, Drake, Big Sean, Wale, and it was like a surplus of talent versus now where you just have a bunch of mediocrity. And it's like there's not talent is not becoming a requirement in order to make it anymore. There used to be a time where like in order to be big, in order to be considered a celebrity, you had to actually be talented.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like our definition of talented is starting to change. And we're starting to see that now with the um I guess downfall of hip hop. Not saying that it can't make a comeback. I don't think it's dead, but I don't like the direction that it's going in.
KRS One said in a 2010 interview, he said that hip hop is one of those things that evolves and changes with the generation of people. You're not going to find someone that can perfectly imitate a KRS flow or a Twista flow in today's generation because that was that version of hip hop. Today's version of hip hop is dying that we know of. We're kind of used to that version. Like we want that to stay or be kind of following us through. But as shit gets older and as new people take over, it's not. What's going to be popular is what's going on at the times. Like we had some really good artists in the 2018, 2017 new freshman lookout, yeah, freshman of the year awards in the XSL magazine, but no one fucking knows who they are. We had some
Oh,
legit artists like one of my favorite artists, Mir Fontaine. He was on there, and nobody knows who the fuck
yeah.
he is.
And the people who are good, they don't get enough shine.
Exactly,
Like
it's
people who
bullshit.
are moving it forward don't get enough shine because people just want to listen to rap that's about um, murder, violence. Even though rap has always kind of sort of talked about these subjects, there were different there were people talking about different shit as well. Versus now where mostly only everybody's only talking about murder, sex, and drugs.
Well, when you say murder, sex, and drugs, right? I
Mm.
want I would need a better reference to that because nowadays K-pop rap, as I like to call it, or emotional rap, as I recently heard it was called, is all
Emo
about
rap,
hmm?
emo rap.
Yeah, emotional. Just call it what it is, emotional rap.
Yeah, I mean that pretty
I
much
mean,
falls into the
but hold
same
on, let me finish the thought. Let me
category.
finish the thought. Let me finish the thought if I lose it.
Mm.
Damn, gone.
But
God
I
damn.
mean
Thank,
that pretty much falls into the
thank.
same category, and the people who pioneered that are dead. XX Tentacion is dead. Juice World is dead. Those are pretty much the people who really took that lane and you know just took off with it, innovated it. Now that they're gone,
Oh yeah.
of course it's still around, but
Mhm.
everybody talks about that is either about something about some sad bullshit, drugs, murder, and sex. That's all rap is about nowadays.
Well, I mean, rap has always been about that for a long time. Buy
It
You a
has.
Drink was not an
But
uplifting
you
song.
had options if you didn't want to listen to that shit. You had Outkast talking about different shit. You had multiple artists talking about, like you had Nas talking about different shit.
Mhm.
Now it's just if you really want to find somebody who's talking about some different shit, you have to go out of your way and search for them in order to find that.
Well, when you say that, do you mean like the older musicians are no longer producing this work? Or because then if that's the case, you can always just go back to them. Or are you
Mm,
saying that even older and newer musicians are creating like this new dichotomy of how rap should be?
I mean, so if just looking at why a hip hop album hasn't charted this year. Like as I was saying, none
Right.
of the major artists, the top four, as people would say, has dropped albums this year. Cole hasn't dropped, Kendrick hasn't dropped. Well, top three, Drake hasn't dropped. Those are usually the people who go number one when they do release an album. Because they have not this year, as you can see, nobody has charted number one. Because I feel like those fan bases are the only ones who really still go out and make sure they support their artists and buy their music.
Okay. I mean, saying that would indicate that we have to kind of depend on those three to always be able to drop something as years go as they
We
progress in their
have. That's
career.
what's been going on.
But yeah, that's kind of like recent years. Because I remember back in the day, it used to be like Lil Wayne, T Pain, can't think of it. Yeah, it changes.
We have more of a
I
variety.
I feel like that a notion supports the idea that newer artists
Mhm.
don't exist. Like newer artists that can provide that type of clout or whatever
They
you want to
don't
call it,
because they're
it
not as
don't exist.
talented.
But I disagree. I feel like what you said earlier is correct. They don't get the stream or market
Mhm.
they deserve. And I feel
That's
like
true
it's because the
because they don't
world
have
is
the fan
K-pop.
base to buy their music.
Yeah. But it's because the world is K-pop. The world is pop music. The world is
Mhm.
reggaeton. It's all dance and parties. And dancing and parties, like I said earlier. Drugs,
Yeah,
sex, alcohol, and rock and roll.
yeah.
Because, like, case in point, I can think of a motivational song right now. Aloe Black, I'm the man. He came on an era where we didn't have this style of music, but he didn't get the clout. He provided an uplifting song.
That was
Great.
a popular song, though. To his credit, it was a popular song.
It was like a pop. Like for real, he had
Yeah.
15 minutes of fame. Like he wasn't like I fucking love Owl Black because I can say I listened to that motherfucker for 5 years straight. Same
Mhm.
4 songs. But there's like one Cosmos and a billion everybody else's. So
Yeah.
realistically
Mhm.
speaking, he wasn't popular. He made a really catchy song and then he died off.
Yeah, this is true.
Like
And
what's the
people
name?
don't buy music either like they used to.
Who?
The way that people consume music is differently. People don't really buy music like they used to.
Well, yes, that's true. But remember, we was going this way anyway when YouTube when YouTube came out. YouTube was YouTube. Like, but the
Yeah.
moment they introduced the concept of free music, like we already knew this was coming. Eventually, the
Yeah.
option of
But
buying music will die.
but even YouTube goes towards streaming sales. So they still get that money from things of that nature, but it's just like if you don't have the fan base, if people aren't going online, clicking on your videos, they ain't downloading your music. They may be, but if you don't have that wide fan base,
Mm-hmm.
you're not gonna chart. You're not gonna see success. Is that on top of some of these rappers are just not talented. They're not stars. And I remember we had this conversation a couple episodes back about um, who are the actual stars in this generation. Compared to other generations, we don't have that many stars. We just don't.
I
And I
think
feel like that's an issue.
I think it's because we're trying to keep the stars that's kind of like grandfathered in as the main stars. Like I argue, I'm not. I'll be the first one to say I'm not really a big fan of a lot of music nowadays. But that's because I'm not in this generation of music anymore. My head and my life experiences, they don't really like. I always will hear a certain Lauryn Hill song or a certain Jay-Z song. I can bump. Like, that's it. I don't give a fuck what they say. Like, it's a hard knock life. You still gonna see niggas in the 30s or late 20s still bumping. But we are not that population that's going to those concerts every day. We're not the population that's feeding off music. It's the younger kids. They're not gonna be bumping Hard Knock Life. They're probably gonna be bumping some Little Nas X joint. And to be real with you, that's what they like. That's what a whole government, laws, policies, social changes have created. A generation of kids that doesn't recognize real life situational rap like what NWA talking about fuck the police because being beaten by riding the keys. No, now they're talking about like I want to have fun and express myself because I feel like I'm depressed inside all the time. But that's just a generation. That's just where we at
Yeah,
right now.
yeah, yeah. Which I don't like that either. I feel like that's starting to. I think it's been starting to become a trend.
It
But
sucks, but honest to God, there's nothing we can do about it because we're out. We're not in that game no more. Like case point, you said Nas, for example. Nas dropped fire album. He dropped a fire ass album not 5 months ago. And in my personal opinion, it did not get as much clout as it deserved.
mm, it was
King's
critically
Throne 3
acclaimed, but
was
it
the
didn't
shit.
get because nobody is. Even though over the years I've started to have a higher appreciation for Nas,
Which is true. I would
nobody. If
like to
you're
point
at a
out to the people
party or
that
you're out trying to have fun, nobody's like, "Oh, yo, turn that Nas on." It's just not happening.
I agree, but I want to point out to the people she was a very adamant, adamant,
Yeah,
adamant
yeah. I mean,
prosecutor of Nas. Very
yeah,
adamant.
because I mean, looking back on it, if you're a 21-year-old kid, even today, a 21-year-old kid is gonna think somebody like Nas is boring because A, they ain't really been through shit. You're not really evaluating the situations that you really go through in life to understand his music or to appreciate him musically. He's the type of artist you have to, age a little bit, grow, and then you come back to him like, oh, he's really saying some real shit. But if you're just trying to party and have fun, nobody is in the car talking about turn that Nas on.
I was. I was the guy that said turn that Nas on.
I mean, yeah, you have a very eclectic music taste.
I
So,
ain't wrong, homie.
of course.
I was
But
100%
the
that guy.
average person is that we're
Yeah.
not getting drunk going to the club bumping Nas. No, nobody's, unless it's like,
Nas is
hate me
like
now or
life
some
like a
shit.
dice game.
But yeah,
Yeah.
so
But honestly, back to the topic at hand. Yes, I really don't. I understand how the billboard happened this way. Like,
mhm.
I mean, real rap. The fact that it's only down to those three artists that can potentially make any moves on the
I
billboards
mean,
is
no, and
sad.
I will put Big Sean on there too, because Big Sean be spitting.
Yeah, Big Sean and Papoose, I argue, are very hardworking, phenomenal artists that have proven their work in the game. But it's no longer their time to be on the billboard. It's over. Like I would love to be able to hear a million T Pain songs every day, new T Pain versions, new little shit. I would be the first nigga to say, Little Wayne, every generation can drop a bop. Every generation, don't matter who he is, but it's not his time.
Yeah,
Like, how many times have you heard another little artist even pop up? Little Peep, Little Pump.
yeah.
That's our thing. That's our generation. Like now, it's every acronym means something. Machine Gun Kelly, Never Broke Again,
Yeah.
you knew whatever the hell YNW means. But the point is,
What,
it's
YNW Melly?
yeah. But from point, that's not for us no more, right? I can see why the billboards and why people who are in our generation are complaining about it because yeah, the kids are taking over now.
Yeah, for
Gotta let it
sure.
happen. Like case in point, there would have been a hell of an argument if we sat there and said in 19, I'm sorry, I even give you 2007, Lizzo would have made it. She would have never been popular in 2007. Like real rap, great artist, but she would have never made it. Too many
I
high
mean,
standards.
no seven? No, I don't think so.
No,
Even
she would
though I'm
never
not the
made it.
biggest, I don't listen to her music. I like her as a
As a person,
figure, as
yes.
a representative,
But look,
what
but
she represents.
ask yourself who was successful in 2007. And ask yourself, even though Lizzo is talented, there is no denying it. She wouldn't have made it. Lil
No,
Nas X wouldn't have made it.
There was a time you actually had to be talented, and that's why we had stars. Now, talent is not a requirement in order to be famous or in order to get your song played. It's not a requirement. Half these people you go see, they don't even know how to fucking perform.
That's
They're
true.
either um, uninterested, socially awkward, and just don't know the first thing about performing. And in order to be a star, that should be something that comes naturally. Or,
Mm,
people should train you for those things. Like
yeah,
Beyonce just didn't
I get
just
it.
come out just knowing how to be a performer.
She
She
had to
had
be
to
taught
work
that.
hard. She had to develop performance abilities in order to be a star. Now
Do
they
you?
don't have that. They don't have good A&Rs, people who make sure that you look good while you're on stage, that you know how to perform, that you know how to interact with the crowd. They don't have that.
Mhm.
It's just, oh, we getting paid, go out there, do your set for 30 minutes, get off, whatever. They're not really caring about leaving you wanting more. If that makes sense.
So I feel like what you're saying is this generation of performers aren't necessarily performing for the art but for the money.
Yes. And you can tell.
Yeah, I agree. But
And it and
again,
it
that
shows.
happens every so many years though. Like we can literally pick through the 90s and find a year where they weren't doing their best. If you looked hard enough, you can find it.
Yeah, I don't know about the maybe early 2000s, but the 90s is pretty on point.
I
You
couldn't
had
tell you
several
off the top of my
stars in
hand,
the
but
90s.
I'd imagine there at least one year, at least one. But again, I'm not gonna say in front like I know. I'm just
Yeah.
saying we're just in the era nowadays where everything's about what we said earlier:
Yeah.
drugs, sex, rock and roll, and sadness and money.
Yeah.
It is what it is. And I feel like nowadays everybody's upset about it because they really miss the old school bops.
Yeah. I don't even really
You,
listen to, like I said, I listen to the top three. And even Drake's kind of falling off artistically.
I mean, he can't get any better. Like, what can he
Yeah,
really do
that
differently?
and then he doesn't have any motivation to.
Because
He's
like
reached the
he's
pinnacle of
Drake.
success.
Yeah, he's Drake.
Right. So it's like at that point, um, you don't really have a motivation to become better, which is why I like artists like Kendrick and Cole who still push that, narrative of, okay, yeah, sure, I'm this person, but I'm still going to give you my all when I record a record. There's not too many people that care enough to do that.
Okay, well, I can see where you're coming from with that. I worry though that it comes from a place of like favoritism. Like you really like these artists
Mhm.
and they have successfully been giving you repetitively good things. But what if you were to take yourself out the equation and actually like dissect it for what it was? Could you say that these same artists and rappers or these same artists, rappers, and albums they're producing is really the same quality like back in the day?
Um, I'm,
Like,
I mean, personally, I think it's the same. It's the same quality, obviously, because they're still charting, they're still making number ones.
except last
People
year,
are still supporting them and buying their music. They're
except
still
this
the
year,
top. They've been the top three icons in rap for over a decade
except for this year.
because they haven't dropped anything this year. That's
Then
what I'm saying. If Cole, Kendrick, or Drake were to drop something this year, they would go number one. But as you said, they're the three that's really holding this shit together because nobody else is doing anything.
but they shouldn't be that way. They shouldn't be holding anything together. It should be their turn to pass the torch. Like after
Yeah,
arguably 10
true.
years,
Hmm.
10 years, you should be ready to like chill the fuck out what you doing. Like you're 10 years in the game, dog. Like you've been making hits for a decade. You have literally shaped a
This
whole
is true.
generation of people. Not once, but probably twice, because Kendrick's been around for a minute.
Yeah.
So
I know Cole has
I'm,
two more albums left, and he said he's retiring.
to be
Drake,
real with you, I'm pretty excited to see the change in rap music. I don't like it, but I
I,
like to see this change
I'm
happen.
not. I don't think it's gonna be anything worthwhile.
I
Do
couldn't
I
tell you.
think
I
it'll
just
be
know,
decent? Will there be a bop here or there? Sure. Anything
right?
worthwhile to talk about in the next 10 to 20 years? No, I don't see it.
They already speculate within that time most of rap is gonna be all Caucasians. So I mean,
Mhm.
that was an
I,
estimated prediction.
I mean, I
20
don't know.
years,
I mean, Jack Harlow is actually not that bad of a rapper.
but he's also I mean,
he
I'm not look at
I
I'm not
don't.
hating. I'm just saying it is
I
what it
mean,
is.
I don't think it's gonna be oversaturated with white rappers simply because it takes too long for white rappers to get put on.
I
Like,
mean,
there's
yeah.
only so many white rappers I can name off the top of my head. MJ, MGK, Eminem,
Mm.
Jack Harlow,
Lil
Matt
Peep.
Miller, but RIP to him.
Lil Peep.
Uh,
Wait,
yeah,
is he white or black? I just heard him in passing, I think.
Matt Miller, he's white.
No, Lil Peep.
Lil Peep, yeah, he's
Hold
white.
on. We all have access to Google.
But is he? Did he pass away?
I've actually found like a lot of London rap is actually becoming popular.
Yeah, I don't like this style of rap.
Yeah, he's white.
Yeah, I just
Yeah.
can't take them seriously with their accents.
I mean, yeah, me and you, but again, we're not the ones that's the foremost authority on this actual next generation. And as you can
Yeah.
tell, a lot of people are liking these types of things in like pop modern society. You see people talking mad shit how good fucking Peaky Blinders is, but no one's fucking watching woke. I feel not enough people are watching woke.
Yeah, this is true.
Not enough. Like that real rap. That's a very good and that's a very good show. It talks about social issues. It talks about what it's like to be on the outside looking in. It talks about blackness. But the problem here is it talks about shit that makes people think.
Yes.
It talks about shit that makes you not do what the narrative of the world is, as we discussed in music, drink, party, feel sad, talk about your emotional well-being, and embrace sexuality and drugs. That's all it is nowadays. So that's why shows like that don't work. That's why we look at the news. We got to stop looking at like music. That's why when we look at music, you got to start looking at like, oh damn, no artist I like is up there. Like, okay, what does this next generation of music gonna fucking sound like? Is it gonna be some shit I want to be part of, or do I have to wait the next year? Real rap, we're at that stage.
Yeah, I mean, I'm more so. I listen to more R&B nowadays than I listen to rap. Honestly,
Like
so like
I say that
R&B is,
R&B is really great. Like Lucky Day, shout out to you, homie.
yeah,
You the shit right
R&B
now,
is really
homie.
great and a really great place right now, and simply because it's transformative, it's evolving, and it's just really good quality. And you can tell that these artists, they take their time to make these records versus hip hop where niggas is just dropping songs every single day about nothing. So
You ever heard that artist named Iniko?
who?
Iniko, Iniko. She's an R&B artist.
Mm-hmm.
Or maybe I'll say more of a neo soul R&B artist.
Okay.
She made that song. I'm from outer space. I got Milky Way in blood. I got
Mm,
Milky Way in my blood, evolution in my veins.
I
That
might
shit was
have.
like the whole #1 hit for like all last, like
Yeah.
good half of last year.
Yeah, if I heard it, I probably know it.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't see the billboard myself. I just read the article, but yeah.
Mm.
If she's not on there, I can't respect it. Like there's some really decent R&B artists that up there, but I feel like R&B is doing exactly like hip hop. It's making that like slow moving change
Mm.
to like techno.
Mm.
Slowly going
I
to
mean,
tech.
I think it just depends on what you're into. I don't know any type of
You like Lucky
techno.
Day,
I don't
right?
listen to any type of techno R&B artist.
Do you like Lucky Day, right?
Yeah, I mean, he's straight. He made
Oh,
I like over like that one song he had. Have I really listened to him extensively? No. I
I
listen to
listen.
more so like Brent Fayez and Bryson Tiller, Summer Walker, SZA, Janae Aiko, like you
These are
know.
still like, I mean, they're all great artists. Every
Mm,
single one's a great artist. But well, that's it. They're all just great artists. If you stick to them, yeah, be safe. But I
yeah.
like to learn out of all these new kids that are on the block right now. Shout out. Which one of them are the ones that we're over looking by? Like, there's a lot of artists, a
Oh,
lot of
listen.
rap artists coming back. Because I mean, nowadays people think rap is easy, but
Mhm.
you have to really take the time to cut through the bullshit.
That's true.
Really got to cut through the bullshit because everybody is an artist until it's time to perform.
This is true too.
That's the realest shit
Very true.
ever.
Yeah.
Everybody's an artist, so it's time to do the shit you got to do. Now, poof, you're not an artist. So I ain't saying no shit, but a lot of these new kids I can't, but a lot of them I can fuck with. I'll be the first to say it.
Yeah.
Like again, I have, like you said, I have very eclectic taste. So I'm gonna be sitting there jamming some new country guy while you saying fuck that. I'm straight R&B. So for all this whole Billboard shit, for real, I think we gotta like accept the fact that our music that we love, hold dear, love near dear to our heart, is probably dying. That artist that dropped those bops all through your 20s is just not it. He's not there no more.
Yeah. Um, yeah. Mm.
All right.
Mm.
Have you heard about that submarine shit, by the way?
Oh yeah, who has it?
I mean, it took me a while to
I
actually hear
kind
about
of,
it.
yeah, because I think it happened around the time that I was down there, but I really didn't care enough to really, research it to see what it was about. All I
Honest,
heard was it was a submarine controlled by a game controller.
honest to God, the submarine shit is weird because it was about them trying to do an exploratory mission to see the Titanic, which I can kind of understand why you would want to see the Titanic, considering it's about to
I,
disappear in a few years.
I don't
But
understand the
real rap,
historical value
there
behind it.
was there's so many other better things you could do. To keep it honest with you, people dying under the sea is quite normal.
Yeah, yeah, and it's just like I don't understand. Okay, this happened in what 1912. Okay, biggest shipwreck, what ever in the United States. Okay, cool. But outside of that, what is the historical significance? Why is it important enough for me to go down into a submarine to just fucking look at it?
Well, you would have to care about like the history of the Titanic.
Right, which is
Right.
I don't understand why people find that so fascinating. It hit a fucking iceberg. It was 1912.
That's
Of
all
course, the
marketing.
ship wasn't built to handle that type of impact.
That's all marketing. The Titanic movies will made it popular.
Yes, yes,
Real
definitely,
rap, man. Because
definitely. It has to be
most
because I
yeah,
can't think of no other reason.
most people don't know that's the second Titanic. The first one also sank. He built it. He doubled the layers. No, what did he? He quadrupled it because
Wow.
it wasn't thick enough the first time, so he did it again. That was a maiden voyage of it to prove he knew what he was doing. But no one knew how icebergs work. They didn't know how deep the bitches were.
Right, and that's what I'm saying. They didn't have that knowledge back then.
But
So
that
it's just
doesn't.
like, of course, that's why it didn't work. But would I risk my life going into a submarine that A, I did not test, B, is controlled by a fucking game controller, and C, is the size of a minivan? No. Lord rest their souls, but nothing about that was smart.
I mean, yeah, this is true. No, it was smart. And then they did have years to actually test it before doing
Years.
it.
It's not like they don't have money or resources to put towards testing it.
I argue honestly, this whole Titan thing is just a front to cover something else because no one's ever mentioned any significant name. There's no person on that boat that I heard was important. Like I've literally talked to people about it. There's no one on there outside the fact that you're going down and see the submarine, the Titanic, which a lot of ships have done it. Like a lot of one man, really thick, tested out shit actually has done it.
Mhm.
It's just you're not gonna do the shit in the submarine with 8 people.
No, and it's just,
It was just
and
dumb.
then the side, it wasn't like a real submarine. It was
It was
just
just
a
dumb.
little capsule. It's just like, no, that's not how that works.
But like no one, it was. I feel like this whole thing was just a ploy. They were supposed to die. Like the whole, it doesn't make sense to even care about it. Keep it real
Honestly,
with you.
it was just a death wish. Had to be because it doesn't make sense, and it doesn't make
Like
sense
no
why
one did this
somebody's
shit for the
alive.
Great Barrier Reef. No
Hmm?
one did shit for the Great Barrier Reef. That's a whole natural occurring
I
phenomenon that we
mean,
will never get back.
this is true.
Like, come on, we needed that. That was for the damn the ecosystem. If when that died, a lot of fucking fish had to figure out what to do, and a lot of people had to suffer. Not
This is true.
It's more like a lot of business people suffered, and the average man, he didn't think about it because he's average. Like he's not the one that's walking around making those big influential moves in society. He's just the one
Right.
being affected by those moves. So yeah, he didn't care. But the fucker that's trying to give him the shit to eat or fucking make it work, yeah, that's a big fucking deal. But no, we want to go see the Titanic personally. I get it. If I got $1 billion, yeah, I'm gonna do some dumb shit like that. Take me to the fucking moon. I got money for it. But for real,
Yeah,
it's
they,
just a
they would have
ploy.
been better
Like
off going to space.
I don't even feel happy enough even talking about it because this is dumb.
Yeah, it's really, yeah, it's like the whole situation was just like, I thought, like, it sounds like a bad movie script. Like,
Yeah,
so to actually think like, wow, like people really thought that shit was a good idea is just insane to me.
agreed. Agreed.
Insane. But yeah, but RIP to them, you know. Hopefully nobody else gets the bright idea to do that.
Or at least be smart and send the actual like remote control machine down there.
Yeah, at least test the theory. Just does, don't be the test subject.
I'm just saying, like,
You
dog. I
know,
mean,
yeah.
I like the historical significance of seeing the Titanic. I do. I personally, if I could see it just regularly, I would see it. But I wouldn't. I wouldn't do it that way. That just seems dumb. Usually,
No.
like, it just seems dumb.
Yeah, they just I mean,
And then
and
for you to
they were
go with like,
warned, they
oh,
were
you can,
advised of the risk before they did it.
oh well, it's your
So
fault.
it's like, you know,
It's 100% your fault, dog. Like, it is what it is.
yeah, it's like, what can you do?
You can just fucking
I
watch a
heard
whole bunch of
today
rich
or
people do what they want to do.
yesterday they finally found the some pieces of it and they found like human remains.
Ooh,
So I'm guessing they're starting to find, you know, the evidence and trying to piece together what exactly happened.
I bet in 5 years one of them's gonna be alive on an island somewhere.
Hmm.
Mark my words. About 5 years,
As deep as
somehow,
they
some way.
was, that's over with.
That's what I'm
And what a
saying.
horrible way to die.
No, it's not. You chose that. You picked it.
That's
It
true.
would have been horrible if you didn't, but you picked it.
Yeah, that's true.
I God rest their soul. I don't like wish death or think death on anybody, but real rap, you had a conscientious choice to say this,
They did.
and then you didn't even pick like. Here's my thing. Nowadays, because of Titanic, shit like Titanic, they actually have like boats and planes to follow you in case some shit does happen. You can be saved, or you have like some type of like signal to save your fucking ass. You
Right.
didn't. You didn't think maybe I should look National Guard like, hey, we'll be down here. Like, and then you go deeper than what the National Guard military submarine can go. So if something does happen, you're just dead. Because about if the cracks, you can't even survive the fucking oceanic pressure. You're dead.
Right. That's what I'm saying.
It's just dumb.
What they think happened was when they went down there, of course, the
Mm,
pressure, the little capsule, the submarine imploded.
right.
So hopefully, it was just a quick, instant, painless death.
Well, imagine over 120,000 pounds of water just land on your head spontaneously. 120,000 pounds of water, and you're in a small capsule.
Yeah.
You're probably FaceTime with
I
your
can't
phone.
even think about it because I'm claustrophobic. So that definitely would have been enough for me. That's like two of my biggest fears combined. A tight space and water. No thank you.
I just don't. That's why I don't do cruises. If one of our fans happen to one day
Yeah.
be really nice and invite us on a cruise boat, I'm telling you now, and for the past me to the future me, the answer is no.
Cruises are different. The Coast Guard can find me on a cruise ship.
Keep it. Keep it.
But a capsule in the fucking depths of the ocean, they can't
Keep it.
find you there.
Oh, you're dumb. You deserve to die.
Yeah, it's just like,
I hate to say that, but again, shit happens.
yeah, I mean, and then why the video game controller? That's my thing. That's the
People need to let
weirdest
that part.
shit.
That's how I know it's a ploy. That has no significance. People have piloted shit off dumber shit. People care about. Come on now. What about the meme where
Like
niggas
you
would
didn't
attach
think to
like
put
a
a
spoon to the
system,
steering wheel and drive their car?
right. Or you like didn't think to actually build a remote control system in the actual submarine itself.
I mean, it wouldn't matter
You
either way.
just got a video game controller.
It wouldn't matter either way, dog. The submarine was destined to crash. A video, if they had an Xbox One controller, it would have been cooler. And everybody would be like, oh, well, at least he tried. But nah, because it was like some corny old retro shit, people had a
Nah, they
problem.
got the cheapest shit they could find.
Right, which was
Oh,
happened to be the game of our generation. A Sega controller. No, a Sega, no, a Nintendo 64 controller.
yeah, crazy, insane.
Crazy. Crazy.
Yeah, yeah. And then the company is still advertising to go down there again. They're trying to get more people to do it.
Yeah, kill the billionaires.
Yeah.
Feed the
So
rich to the poor.
yeah, they won't be
Oh,
killing the poor people, at
entirely
least.
side note issue on that statement. If anyone has ever seen Into the Spider-Verse 2, I will be the first person to say I did not like that movie. That is all.
I
Next,
haven't, I haven't watched it.
affirmative action is currently in threat because of some bullshit. You heard about
Yes,
that, Carrie?
of course.
Yeah, that's kind of scary. But it's an interesting conversation because it leads me to the question: would you rather have a percentage-based affirmative action or a quota-based percent affirmative action system?
Um, I mean, if anything, studies show that affirmative action actually benefits white women more than it benefits minorities.